Josh Singer, Tom McCarthy, thank you both for joining me.
Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Have you found that journalists have been coming up to you all, approaching you, thanking you for making this movie, for making something that portrays journalism in a positive light, not in a sort of doom and gloom way?
It's been really lovely. We did a wonderful screening in Washington, D.C., where it was an investigative journalism forum, and we had a lot of great folks from the Post come up, and you know, they seem to think that we've gotten it right, and I think a lot of that goes to Tom, and he always had this vision of authenticity and really trying to get it right. And I think what's been great is to not only get the respect of the folks in the industry themselves, but to have people feel proud of what they're doing, and to try to give this industry a shot in the arm at a time when it needs it. Frankly, it's been such a shame what's happened to journalism over the last 15 years, and we need folks like you holding the powerful accountable.
In this political cycle, I've had a few reporters come up and say, "Man, every time there's a political cycle, we really come under fire as journalists, because of course every politician wants to take down the journalists. They don't want the hard answers. They don't want any form of investigation around what they're doing." So they said, especially this time of year, it's nice to get a movie that is inspirational.
Tom, do you think this is a movie that will go down the way All the President's Men has, as a inspiration to young people to actually become journalists?
We're certainly hearing that to a great degree. We've heard it. We've screened this at universities. We've talked to a lot of young people who have seen it. I sat down with a gentleman yesterday, a young guy who went to USC, who's studying journalism, and talked about it. So we've heard quite a bit of feedback to that point. But what I would add here is, I think it's not just about inspiring them to become journalists. Like, ultimately, these young people have to figure out the new model, right? They've got to crack it. We're not going back to 2001 when journalism was at the height of its powers, especially investigative journalism at local papers. They've got to come up with a new model, and no one's cracked it. There's some great online investigative journalism sites. There's some really great examples, but there's not enough all around the country. And I think we're going to need some innovator, so not just journalists, but innovators to help supply that new model.
Yeah, especially because the problem seems to be primarily local as opposed to national. Sure, the New York Times has suffered some hits, but it's still in business and is still pretty robust. It's the local papers like my paper, the Philadelphia Inquirer, which laid off 47 people in December, or the paper out here, the LA Times, which used to have 20 people covering the state legislature and now has 3. It's hard to imagine how you can uncover graft and corruption with only 3 people, where it used to take you 20 people, not too long ago.
Would either of you maybe think about a future career in journalism, maybe doing a little investigative journalism yourself, having gone through this process?
I keep asking Marty for a job, and he tells me I should stick to my knitting, not to quit my day job.
Yeah.
So
no, it's much too difficult. No, we feel much better just talking about it and admiring it.